You know, it's pretty wild to think that a text that's thousands of years old might just hold the key to dealing with our crazy modern lives. Today, we're going to dive into the Dharmapadas. It's this incredible collection of Buddhist teachings that uses simple stories to get at some of life's biggest questions. Let's see what it has to say.
So this is our guide for the journey, the Sutra of the Dharmapadas. Yeah, the title sounds a little intimidating, I get it. But the text itself, it's the exact opposite. Dharmapadas literally means verses of truth, and it's not some dense philosophical slog. It's actually a collection of really short parables that are just incredibly direct and practical. They get right to the heart of what it means to be human. And it all kicks up with the one question that connects every single one of us, right? Why do we suffer? This text doesn't just throw the question out there. It actually offers a clear step-by-step way to think about an answer.
We're going to break this down into 4 core ideas that really build on each other. First, we'll look at this fundamental law of impermanence. Then, we'll see how our own mind is the source of pretty much everything we experience. After that, we'll get into the powerful echo of our actions. And finally, we'll see how wisdom is what can light the way out. Okay, so the first truth is, well, it's a big one. And honestly, it's the hardest one to accept. Everything changes. Nothing lasts forever. And the text illustrates this with a really powerful story. Not about a person, but about a god. So, picture this. You've got Indra, the king of the heavens. He's on top of the world, powerful, basically immortal, or so he thought. Then one day, he looks at himself and sees it, the first signs of decay. His divine light is starting to dim. The flowers in his crown are wilting. The party's coming to an end.
And you can just imagine the panic, right? I mean, even for the king of the gods, the idea of his life ending is absolutely terrifying. He realizes all his power means nothing in the face of this change. He knows there's only one person who might have a real answer. So he bolts to find the Buddha.
And the Buddha's response is just so profound. He doesn't offer a magic potion or some secret escape hatch. Nope. Instead, he lays out this fundamental truth of existence. Everything, from the life of a god to a single thought, follows this cycle. Things arise, and then they pass away. The text tells us that real peace, real bliss, doesn't come from fighting this, but from deeply, truly accepting.
Okay, so if the entire world outside of us is always changing, if even gods aren't permanent, where in the world can we find any stability? Well, this is where the text makes an incredible turn. It points inward and tells us the mind itself is the source of our reality.
And to explain this, we get this great little parable about a turtle and a water dog. The dog is hungry, it sees the turtle, and it pounces, ready for an easy meal. But the turtle does something so simple and so brilliant, it just pulls its head, its tail, and all its legs inside its shell. And just like that, it's an impenetrable fortress. The dog can't do a thing.
Now, this isn't just a cute animal story, right? It's a perfect metaphor for our own minds. The turtle's shell, that's a guarded mind. When we pull our senses inward, we're protected. But an unguarded mind, man, it's always chasing things outside of itself. It's the endless doom scrolling, the constant refreshing of your inbox, the hunt for the next thing you think will make you happy. When we live like that, we are totally vulnerable to every attack. And this verse, it's basically a direct instruction. It's a strategy for living in the modern world. Guard your mind. Build that internal fortress, because that's how you protect yourself from all the chaos out there. Okay, so we've got this changing reality on the one hand and the power of our mind on the other. But how do they connect? Well, this third part is all about the law of cause and effect, or karma, showing that our reality is, quite literally, an echo of our thoughts.
Check out this story about 2 merchants who pass the Buddha on the road. The first one is filled with awe, and he thinks to himself, wow, the Buddha is so majestic. He's like a king. But the second merchant, he just scoffs inside his head and thinks, this guy's just like an ox, and all his followers are the cart he's pulling. Just a passing thought. The consequences of these 2 simple, fleeting thoughts are absolutely staggering. The first merchant, through this bizarre twist of fate with a runaway elephant, he ends up being chosen as the new king of a kingdom. The second merchant, his fate is much darker. He gets drunk, passes out on the road, and gets run over and killed by a caravan of 500 carts.
This wild story perfectly captures the idea behind the famous twin verses from the text. The message is crystal clear. Our thoughts are the seeds of our destiny. Good thoughts will bring happiness that sticks to you like a shadow, and evil thoughts, they create a path to suffering, just as surely as the cart's wheel always follows the ox's hoof.
So if our own minds can create so much suffering through just a few negative thoughts, what's the antidote? This brings us to the final and most important piece of the puzzle: wisdom. Wisdom is the light that shows us the path to true freedom.
The text tells this amazing story about the Buddha coming face to face with a gang of 500 ruthless robbers. He doesn't use force, he doesn't threaten them. Instead, he speaks directly to the root of their own suffering. He tells them, look, a wound from a sword, that'll heal, but the wounds you're giving yourselves every single day through worry, anger, and foolishness, those are way, way deeper.
And the solution he offers just cuts right to the chase. These self-inflicted wounds, these arrows of a foolish, untrained mind, can only be removed by one thing: wisdom. And how do you get that wisdom? By hearing the deep teachings, by learning to see the world and yourself with total clarity.
Now, it's so important to understand what wisdom means here. This isn't about being a genius or memorizing a bunch of facts. It's a practical skill. It's the ability to see reality for what it actually is, to really get it in your bones that things are impermanent, that your mind shapes your world, and that your actions have consequences.
So the ultimate takeaway from this incredible text isn't that suffering is just a fact of life we have to endure. It's that the key to our own freedom is already in our hands. Wisdom, seeing clearly, is the medicine. So that leaves us with a pretty tough question. It's not just about what to remove from your life. It's about asking yourself, what if the problem isn't the problem, but how the foolish arrows of my own mind are shaping how I see it?